Hi, this is Al with the Let's Get It podcast. Really quick, when I reached out to Monique to do this, I just told her, can she make it to, last week? Can you make it today? What have you? Scheduled everything. But we didn't plan this color coordination. I just wanted to just say, it just happened that way. Like, that's why we're like this. Yeah, exactly. So everyone I have on my show, I really want you guys to reach out if you need her services, my consulting services, what have you. I always put stuff in the end of the show, her contact info, we'll go over that again. But a small recap we talked about in the first segment. We talked about 1995, the way you used to look for a job. Now the way you do it in 2020 is completely different. What are things you should have on your resume, on your LinkedIn, how often you should update it. What does a job posting entail for your business?
So that 1995 thing, you just totally gave away my fake age thing. Yeah. So
she did a lot of research.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Al. Got it.
Hey, I love it. I love the 90s, so you can say what you want.
I was 12 that year, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So, there you go.
And I was old. Entrepreneurs, business owners, what they should do to attract good talent, and once you have good talent, how do you maintain that talent in your establishment? We ended the last segment with the part-time Jedi.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Jedi.
So I want to know that, let's keep it real. When you go to work, you spend how many hours a week with this person? And the truth of the matter is, I want to know you have outside interests, that you're passionate about things. It makes life so much better. I'm a firm believer in authenticity in the workplace.
Right.
And I think that we've read so many books about when you go to work, say this, don't do this. Obviously, you want to be appropriate, but you also want to be approachable, and you want to develop those relationships. Are you going to work better with someone that you connect with on a level outside of I do this and you do this? You're going to connect better, you're going to trust each other, and you're going to get more results from that person when you care about what they care about. Mm-hmm. And if I happen to be a Star Wars geek and I hire a part-time Jedi Knight, hey, I may need a Jedi Knight when, they're coming at me in my flanks. So there's that. Mm-hmm. But I want to know that you have interest and you're passionate, and that outside of work you have a life. Because those are the folks you can motivate. Those are the folks you can inspire. Those are the things that are exciting. I can buy her a Jedi Knight mug and she's going to be over the moon. I'd rather do that than have to pay her $10,000 more next year. So it's little things like that that really tell you who a person is. And then when you get them talking about what they're excited about and that light comes on, you see what their potential is. You see what they're capable of. Mm-hmm. People sit in an interview, and I like to do the interview seat. Okay, ready? Hello. Yes, I'm here for the interview, and I'm perfect, and I've never done anything wrong in my life, and I've always had a great experience, and no one would ever say anything bad at me. Nonsense. I want to know what your challenges are. I want to know what your struggles are. I want to know. I like a less than perfect resume, because what that tells me is you're not afraid to take risks. You're not afraid to rise to challenges. If you know how to fail gracefully, then you know how to succeed. If you've never failed, if you've never put yourself out there, if you've never brought an idea to the table at work and had it shot down, then you're not going to know how to deal with change and change management. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm looking for all those things. Now, granted, as the first line of defense as a recruiter, I get to know them, so when I present a candidate to a hiring manager, I don't just say, this is Johnny Appleseed, and he's amazing, and he does this, and he does that. I'm going to say, he's a part-time Jedi Knight, he's a Star Wars geek, he loves what he does, he's passionate about his little dog Stanley. I want to be able to present this candidate as a person. So when the hiring manager meets with them, they know how to light that fire. Because let's face it, interviewing can be really dry and boring.
Right.
And it's how we connect as people. And what is it going to be to work with this person
every day? Should you interview the person on site, or should you go off-site to help them relax?
Both.
More engaged? Okay.
I think that the biggest mistake some people make is only doing the interview off-site, because they need to see the work environment.
Right.
I worked in an amazing cafe, right? Like on the outside, it was amazing. It was beautiful. I worked for an Australian wonderful, beautiful spaces, lovely. It was just fantastic. And the kitchen was like a cracker box.
Right.
And so we would like sell these people in these beautiful spaces and oh my goodness, it's this and it's that. Not telling them that you can't turn around in either direction. If the person can't manage that and can't handle that and isn't like cool and doesn't roll with the punches, you're gonna have issues in the middle of service.
Right.
And so for me, I think it's important to have both. Maybe you have an initial conversation offsite, and then when you're ready, say, I'd like you to come in when we're busy. I may not have time to spend with you, but I'd like you to see how we run things around here.
Right.
And
right.
they're interviewing you too.
Right.
The days of, I'm in charge, I'm the hiring manager, you should be grateful, not with this generation. Not going to happen. People have too many opportunities. So you bring them in and say, how did you feel about that? When you saw the rush, how did that make you feel? How would you have handled it? I want to know, did you see things that you would do differently? And let them observe. Give them 15 minutes to observe during like a busy time. And say, I want to offer you the job, but I want you to come in first and see the realities.
Right.
And if they say no, you've dodged a bullet. And if they say yes, they're down and they're up for the challenge. Do
they do that in corporate? I mean, we do it in our industry. It's called a stage. You come in to work for a few hours. Do they do it in corporate?
They do it in corporate, but in a different way. A lot of times we'll let them meet the team and they'll kind of see their work environment. I like to walk people around and go, hey, this is where you eat lunch. This is where we do this is where we do that. Oh, this is the team you'd be meeting with. I think that would be your desk if you worked here. So they see what the environment is like. If they're a super gregarious person and the group they're working with is super quiet and they talk like this, they're not going to get along. But if they're yahoos, they're like, yeah, we're having a good time, and the person's really introverted, they may not feel comfortable. It's not up to me to make sure that everyone I hire is the same. It's up to me to give the person a realistic expectation and a view into what working with us would be like. And so I'm not going to say to an introvert, I have an extroverted team. Oh no, they won't fit the team. They're introverted. What I'm going to do is show that introvert what the team looks like and let them decide if they would feel comfortable in their own skin. Because we don't want everyone the same. People think cultural fit. I hate that word.
Right.
Cultural fit is like, oh, they won't fit. No, diversity isn't just everyone's the same. That's boring. You're going to get the same thing, same place, same thing, same thing, same thing. When you bring people with different perspectives, you suddenly have a holistic picture of what you're doing. But the person needs to feel comfortable. So that's why I like to show them the workspace, even in corporate. I like to show them what kind of projects they're going to work on.
Right.
I like to show them, what the expectations are. Gone are the shell game days where you're like, oh yeah, just don't tell them about that.
Right.
No, tell them. So when they say, hey, I'm having a problem with this, say, remember we discussed that? Let's talk about how we can get you through that. Don't spring it on them. Nobody likes a surprise. I know I don't.
So I'm glad you said that. Like a lot of stuff you say today, I'm glad you said. But talk to me about appearance. And I'm just going to say the word. I'm not going to say for the job interview, to meet with you one-on-one. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say appearance, and you do.
Oh, okay, what?
Yeah, she's tatted up. So what? She gets the job done. We interviewed someone for a cafe, and I thought it was a transient when we were walking from lunch, and I'm like, I think our appointment's here, and I'm like, maybe not, but it was. He looked almost like a hippie. Think of Bonanza. I don't know if you know Bonanza's an old cowboy show. Yeah, saddle. Yeah, the old Wild West. And I'm like, why are you dressed that way? Whatever. And how should a person dress? A two-part question. For the job interview, and to meet with you, because I think it's the same, because it's your brand. But you tell me.
Couple things. Number one, what's your role? The biggest mistake I ever made was a hiring decision that I made, and I got beat up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for an agency, and I'll say the brand. We serviced Disney. Like, no tattoos, no this, no that, like no this, right? At the park.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a technical position, and I had looked at this portfolio for this artist, And I brought him in. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna fill this job with this amazing artist. And he walked in, and he didn't bathe, and he was very sweaty, and he smelled like cigarettes. And so I was like, oh. So I didn't send him over.
Right.
My competitor did, and he got hired. Why? Because in his particular line of work, they work remote, they're offsite. It's not about their appearance, it's about the work that they put out.
Okay.
Now in hospitality, that's a different thing.
Right.
You know what you want your workforce to look like. However, for an interview, you would hope, and I say hope, and it doesn't always happen, you would hope someone would do their homework and kind of figure out what the culture of the company is.
Right.
For example, Guitar Center. I worked at Guitar Center. It was flannel shirts, rock t-shirts, hairband guys, the whole tattoos, the whole shebang. However, that being said, I didn't mind if they came in with their hair and their tattoos, but I still wanted them to put like neat, clean pants on, an iron shirt, even if it was a t-shirt, as long as it was ironed. It was all about grooming standards, cleanliness, presenting, like that was more important to me. I think if someone comes and shows some dignity and some self-respect, and here's the other thing, people don't always have the money to put on that $50 shirt and
no, of course.
So you want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And it also depends on who's taught them this. And we assume as people of our age that someone has taught them that, but these youngsters don't do that. They don't dress for college. They don't even dress for their graduations. So I look at like two things as a recruiter. I'll say, so you know you're going to be meeting with the hiring manager. Dress your best. Make sure you're appropriate. Do your homework. Like, for example, with a restaurant, I'm like, go by the restaurant, see what our staff looks like. A lot of them will ask, like, can I have tattoos? Can I have piercings? Can I have this? Can I have that? As a business owner, there's two things. You have to decide what your grooming standards are. Worked for a large hospitality company, and when I first started, there was no tattoos. Then it went to no tattoos below the elbows. Then it went to you can have tattoos anywhere, but not if you drew a circle around your face. Then it went from no pink, purple, blue hair. Then it went to you can have part of your hair purple, pink. So it changed as the workforce changed.
Okay.
And grooming became more important than overall look. Neatness, cleanliness was more important than style. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're going to come work for me and I'm going to put you in a uniform, I don't care.
Right.
If I talk to you and say, hey, I know this is what you're wearing today, but this is the grooming standard, it's an understanding. I think sometimes you miss out on great people because you prejudge them. That's a personal opinion.
Right, of course.
That's definitely a personal opinion.
Right.
But I see like even financial investment firms, they have moved from suits and looking like bankers to jeans and tennis shoes. It's usually the jeans. I like to call it the uniform. It's the button-up shirt, the jeans, and the Converse, the Chucks.
Okay.
And if it's a business meeting, they'll put the t-shirt on with the jacket. But it's definitely changed. So it's really about like figuring out what the industry is, what your role is. Are you guest facing? Are there cleanliness objectives? And as far as I'm concerned, even if you work in the warehouse, you need to be clean. Nobody wants to deal with that. So it varies. It varies.
So if someone...
Don't come in your slippers. And don't come in Uggs. Pet peeves.
No yoga pants or nothing like that?
No yoga pants, no.
If someone is meeting with you, they want your services, whether they're looking for a job, a transition, whatever the case may be, they need to meet with you. You're going to redo the LinkedIn, the resume, all that good stuff. How do they need to show up to you? Because you're technically representing them.
I ask them, there's two things. It's an opportunity. I'm like, come prepared for an interview like you're going to meet with a hiring manager. And that way I can evaluate whether they know how to dress. So meeting with me, I want you to put your best face forward, and then I'm not going to judge you. It doesn't mean you're not an amazing candidate. It means that we're going to talk about your attire, we're going to talk about where you're going out in the world to meet with hiring managers, and I'm going to make some suggestions. And I'm going to say, hey, and I'm the kind of person, I'm open enough where if you said, I don't have the budget, I'm like, you know what, you can go to Goodwill. Like,
Right.
I'm going to have those tough conversations because I want someone to be successful. I'm not there to put them down, but I will tell them the truth. So
No, I think the truth is crucial.
Yeah.
And, you know, a red flag for me is, why are we still having this conversation? Because I'm thinking at this stage in the game, and I'm thinking over, 35, if we're still having this conversation, there's a disconnect overall. So let me ask you this. Someone's been doing a job for 20 plus years. Let's say the job is either phased out, kind of no longer around. They need to get back in it to some degree.
yes.
Downsizing, whatever.
Yep.
What's your advice to them, or what would you somewhat work with them on when they contact you?
I think
Because they haven't applied for a job in 20
Well,
plus years.
I think there's a couple things. I think the most important part of the conversation is sitting down and taking inventory of what they've done and what they've accomplished and what their strengths are. And then showing them how the things that they've done somehow relate to the things that they will be doing or can do. I think that it's helping them as far as their self-esteem goes. I think the scariest thing, and I have someone I'm working with right now who has been with the same role since she was 18 years old, and she's 52. And she grew within that role. And it's her first time looking for a job since she was 18 years old.
Wow.
And she's totally distraught, very professional, knows what she's doing, but she's so insecure. Oh my God, everybody is young. It's sitting down and saying, what are your fears? What are you afraid of? Let's talk that through. What's the worst thing? It's kind of like the Emperor's New Clothes. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen in an interview? Like, what are you afraid of? Like, worst case scenario. I think it's discussing those fears and then figuring out how to address them on an individual basis. And really, my job is to be your cheerleader and to give you the confidence to take what you know, not oversell, and not be so afraid. I think in fear, the hardest thing ever is selling yourself. Most people, and this is why it's important to have a resume writer or someone like that, we're taught to be humble. Or if we toot our own horn, it's my favorite word. I'm about to use my favorite word already. We're braggadocious, okay?
I thought it was a bad word, but okay.
Braggadocious. It's thought that you're cocky and you're arrogant and you're all these things. This is your time to shine. Like,
Right.
when you're presenting, and don't oversell, but figure out, like, what are the 5 things, like, if you left me tomorrow, what do I bring to the job market day 1? What do I do day 1 where you don't have to train me? There's always going to be new systems. There's always going to be new policies and procedures.
Definitely. Yes.
But let me tell you, the one thing I know how to do is talk. So what do I bring to the table day 1? I can talk.
Sales. And that's sales. That means sales. Yes.
And what are your soft skills? And what are your hard skills? If you are a technical person, if you are a technician and you can, like, but you are a jerk and you don't smile and you don't say good morning, I'm not going to hire you. If you have those soft skills, you have high levels of emotional intelligence, you are empathetic, you're a good listener, you're like an eager beaver, you're willing to jump in and do whatever and roll up your sleeves. Those are intangible, and believe it or not, you lead with those because those things can't be taught. Basically, when I'm going through a resume, it's like, okay. But before I even bring you in or give you an interview, I'm going to look and make sure you have the basic skills. The next thing, okay, there's 100 of those.
Right.
There's an algorithm in a profile, where it says, oh yeah, they had like 10 of the 11 skills we wanted. The next thing is, are you a nice person? Do I want to work with you? Are you going to go, that's not my job. Oh, that's not my job description. Nobody wants to work with someone like that. And so the next thing is, how do I present on paper, in LinkedIn, in an interview? How do I present that side? Because those are the things that are the intangibles.
The reason I'm so engulfed in this conversation, because for me, staffing has always been challenging. Especially these days, whereas, we're cooking, now people are eating all different ways, and now we have meal delivery apps, and so the chef and the kitchen manager have to do more with less.
Yep.
And there's not too many culinary schools, so most cooks have 2 to 3 jobs.
Definitely.
So it's challenging. And things are opening so fast that we can't catch up. Like, I'm always asking chefs that retire or want to retire, like, don't retire, give back, train, consult, do anything to help the industry out because things are opening so fast.
So, question. Knowing that there is a shortage of talent in the industry, what do you do? I want to get your take on what do you do?
What I need to do with Monique, I need to have a part 3. Because what I'm going to do, I'm gonna have you do the speed round. But we're going to talk about that.
What's the speed round?
I can't tell you what the speed round is.
No, I'm scared.
But I'm going to answer your question in part 3.
Really?
But I want you to do the speed round. I'm curious to know I know where your head's at, but I kind of want to know where your head's at.
Okay.
So the speed round, I do it with all my guests. I just say one word.
Oh, brother.
And I don't care what comes to mind. You want to speak on it, whatever, one word answer, a paragraph, whatever you want. I just want to know. I'm just going to throw a word out there.
You see my Facebook, right? Are you sure you want to do this?
Listen, this is not for kids. This is an adult channel.
You see my Instagram, right?
It's an adult business channel. So before I get to the speed round, if you had a billboard, your billboard, what would you put in that billboard? Jack
of all trades, master of some.
Well, that's easy. That's an easy one. That's good. That's good. All right. So I say the word, and you say whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Startups.
Opportunity.
Branding.
Marketing.
Business growth.
People.
Millennials.
Different.
Social media.
Powerful.
Dating. I threw that curveball. I threw that curveball for a reason. But anyway,
Monique.
Go ahead.
Monique.
Yeah. Okay. I threw that curveball for a reason.
I said Monique.
Oh,
you
damn.
said dating. I said Monique.
I was like, why's she saying her name? Okay.
I had to think about it. First, I had to go. Okay.
I'm like, why she keep saying her name? What's wrong with?
Because I had to get that other thought out of my head first.
She was in a roll, and then she just said her name again. So, last but not least, Facebook ads.
Waste of money.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time today.
Dating.
I'm so happy to have her here. You have no idea. I've been thinking about this staffing thing for a minute, but I want to start the year off like this, giving people information. They can take notes. But to sum it up, welcome to 2020. I really want you guys to reach out to us. All of my guests are here to work with you, help your business grow. And you know, we're technically a service provider. But welcome to Let's Get It. I missed you guys, and we have I might have her once a month. I think she might have to do cameo once a month because staffing is changing so fast. And some of the stuff that she talked about as far as social media and posting stuff out there, I didn't know. I'm an old school Craigslist guy. Just put it on Craigslist and see.
Not Craigslist.
Okay, Monster. Is that better? It's still old.
No, Monster.
Is she old school?
Indeed.
Indeed's okay. It's nice. I like the blue.
ZipRecruiter.
So I'm learning as we go.
Glassdoor.
How can people? What is Glassdoor for? Everything or just this particular?
It's for everything. It's for
everything.
Business, yeah.
You see, we can't stop talking. Let everyone know where they can reach you at, contact you. We'll definitely put you in the description. So how can they get a hold of this amazing talent, all this intel?
So my email address is not like other people. It's Monique, MONIQUE, at Jess, JESS, and AND, Joe, JOE.work. You want to know why?
No, you email her and you ask her, why is your email like this?
Oh,
and then she'll give you the.
Why?
Okay, well, tell them.
Because my kids are Jess and Joe, and they're why I work.
I knew it was the kids. I'm like, I missed her kid's name, but I'm like, I don't want to throw it out there.
I figure anything I do, if I decide to be an astronaut, a firefighter, an HR person, a people ops business partner, ultimately is because I keep working for them.
Good.
So,
okay, cool.
Doesn't matter what business I'm in, that'll probably always be my email address.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Definitely reach out to me and let's get it. My email contact information I'm gonna put in there. It's algordon419 at gmail.com. We got a whole new thing, a few more things working. I can't wait to let you guys know. There's a few openings I want to show you guys. But anyway, I got to get out of here. And we'll see Monique next month, maybe. Until next time, take care.